When you think about shipping safety at sea, what comes to mind? You might be thinking about pirates. If you're driving to work, you might be thinking about boat traffic, measurements, rules about dangerous goods. All of these problems are dealt with and regulated by a multilateral international organization called the International Maritime Organization, or the IMO, which was established within the United Nations framework in 1948. In the 1960s and 70s, the organization began to address environmental concerns as a response to oil spills and the dumping of waste. And it worked. The IMO provided a basic legal convention to address pollution within an international framework. Now let's fast forward to today. The success of the IMO as an organization has been that it can coordinate between countries and actualize. Now this has made it a vehicle for climate policy. If you haven't heard of it, let me introduce it to you. The IMO Net Zero Framework. One could argue that this was going to be the first binding international treaty towards greenhouse gas emission reductions. It had two main parts. First, a global fuel standard which would push ships to adopt, to buy, less greenhouse gas emitting fuels, and a pricing mechanism to encourage adoption by penalizing emitters and rewarding compliance. The meeting to adopt this regulation was to be between October 14th and 17th. On October 10th, in the lead-up, the United States Secretary of State, Energy, and Transportation came together and issued a joint statement, unequivocally rejecting the proposal. In response, the meeting was adjourned until 2026, and potentially could be tabled indefinitely. What's at stake for these changes? Firstly, this would change how ships buy fuel. Most purchase bunker fuel on the spot market. Now imagine a barrel of oil. This breaks down into different petroleum products. The light stuff is gasoline and diesel, and that's on the top. The heavier stuff, literally heavy fuel oil, settles at the bottom of the barrel. And now, this is what ships buy on the spot. When they go to refuel, they buy bunker fuel, heavy fuel oil. To bring in new lower emissions alternatives like biofuels or electrolyzed fuels like e-methanol or e-ammonia, you acquire production capacity. These are plants that don't really exist yet. For production capacity, you acquire building these very expensive plants. To build these very expensive plants, you acquire financing. To get the financing, you have to show the financiers you've contracted buyers. So you have to change how ships buy fuel from spot to contract, and you have to change what fuels to buy. Many ships can adopt, many can't. The IMO's framework would have provided the regulation to force the change. Now, that's a year away, at least. What are the implications? Hydrogen fuels and biofuels production, projects around the world could get canceled, and those going ahead might struggle to make money. New technologies being developed to turn these fuels into power for maritime transport will struggle to find buyers. If you ever dreamed of having a fully international green fuel market, akin to what we have with oil now, well, that dream has become further and further remote. The IMO Net Zero Framework tested the international community's ability to come together and enforce binding climate policy beyond targets. The postponement shows that non-voluntary international frameworks face a lot of obstacles. Market participants assessing compliance risk need to balance whether to invest in a future that may never come or hedge for the inevitable. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out our new community platform, community.spglobal.com. That's community.spglobal.com. We're going to be putting up a lot of great content, and we hope to see you there.